So how would you like to have a teenager that thrives in everything that they do? You know, a teen that's responsible and always makes great choices. A teen that's fully engaged with the family and a joy to be around. Well, today I'm going to be revealing the number one item on our list of the top 10 things you need to stop doing as a parent and what you can do instead. And this one will have a big impact and transform that teenager and change the dynamics within your family. So let's discuss. Well, hello again, everyone. My name is Jim White, and I'm an author, coach, and the founder of the Family Enrichment Academy. But more importantly, I'm a parent just like you. My wife and I have raised 6 children, so we've been into and through those teenage years as well. Well, today's the big day. I'm going to be revealing the number one item on our list of the top 10 things you need to stop doing as a parent with a teenager, and I'll also share what you can do instead. So here it is, the number one item on our list. I'm going to ask that you stop trying to control what your teenager does. So this can be a big transition for many parents. So let me explain what I mean by transition. When your child was a baby, you controlled everything, right? I mean, you decided when they went to sleep, what they ate, and what clothes that they wear. And then when they moved into those elementary school years, you really controlled most everything there as well. Although you might have noticed a little pushback that started to happen when they moved into those years. For example, I remember a certain pair of shoes that one of my daughters just had to wear every day. Now, as your child moves into and through those teenage years, there's even going to be more pushback. And I would assert to you that this is a good thing. This is supposed to happen. There should be a transition where the parent turns over more and more control of their life to their child. This is what prepares them for adulthood. But it's scary, right? I mean, as a parent, we worry about the risk. We worry about them being ready. I know, I've been there before too. Remember, I'm a parent also. But here's the thing though, if the goal is to have a teenager that thrives in everything that they do, you know, one that acts responsibly and makes great choices, one that's ready to be an adult, we have to turn over more and more of this responsibility to them. In effect, we have to let them take control of their life. And I would argue that the earlier this happens, the better. But I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, well, I can't just turn my back on them and turn them loose and say, well, it's all on you now. Which that leads us to what you can do instead. So instead of trying to control your teenager, what I recommend is that you shift your mindset to one of empowerment. Your goal is to empower your teenager to be responsible, to make good choices, to be thoughtful, to live their life with integrity, basically to be awesome. Now let me give you an example that'll illustrate the differences between these two approaches. So let's say that it's Monday afternoon and your son informs you that he has a big algebra test on Friday. Now this class has been a little bit of a struggle this year, so you know this is going to have a big impact on his grade. So from a control-based mindset, what you're going to do is you're going to let your son know that there's going to be no video games this week, right? And then you're going to set up a study schedule for each night of the week. Then on top of that, you're going to call up and set up a tutor to meet with him on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. You'll probably reach out to the teacher and get a list of practice problems that he can use. And then as the parent, you'll be checking in with him every night just to make sure that he's doing the practice problems like he should be. Now, some of you may argue that this sounds like a supportive, engaged parent, which I would agree that they are engaged, but I would assert that their time would be better spent empowering their teenager to come up with their own plan and then supporting them as they execute that plan. And here's why. While they may accomplish the goal of getting the better grade on this particular test, at some point the son is going to start to push back. They may just not even tell the parent about the upcoming test, or as the parent designs these plans for them, they're just going to push back and refuse to do them. And in fact, the child will probably start to accuse the parent of being over-controlling and basically a pain in the you-know-what. But more importantly, the reason to make the shift to the empowerment approach is because of the underlying message that you're sending when you try to control everything that your teenager does. Basically, you're telling them that you don't believe that they can accomplish anything on their own or that they're capable of handling their own problems and issues. So here's how this scenario might play out under the empowerment approach. So after the teen shares that he has this upcoming test, the parent would simply ask, well, how could this affect your semester grade? And let's say that the teenager in this case responds with a little bit of concern on his face. He says, well, this is pretty important. This could have a big impact. So then the parent would respond with compassion, because obviously he's concerned. The parent would say something like, well, I can tell you're a little worried about this, and I know that this grade is really important to you. What are your plans to do this week to prepare for the test? You see, this is an example of turning the problem back over to them. From here, it's about helping them develop their own plan and then helping them to execute that plan. So here are some additional questions that could be used to help move the teen through this process. You could say, well, what study habits have worked best for you in the past? Or you might say, how could your teacher help? Or what could get in the way and interrupt you and cause you not to follow through with your study plan? Or you could simply ask, how can I help as your parent? This is a completely different approach than trying to control everything, isn't it? So empowerment coaching is focused on asking open-ended questions that help guide your teenager through the process of thinking through and coming up with solutions to the problems. Now, the underlying message is that the teen is capable, right? And more importantly, it's their responsibility to solve this problem and come up with a plan and then execute that plan. So there you have it, the number one item on our list of the top 10 things you need to stop doing as a parent with a teenager. I'm asking you to stop trying to control everything that teenager does, and I want you to shift to more of an empowerment mindset. Now, before we sign off today, I did want to let you know I have a free resource for you, and it fits into this theme of things you need to stop doing and what you can do instead. And what I have 10 questions you should never ask your teenager. Think of these as like conversation killers. And then I have 10 great questions as well. These are the conversation starters. And it's a free resource you can pick up on our website. Just go to the home page. The web address is familyenrichmentacademy.com, so be sure to check that out as well. As always, it's truly an honor to be able to serve and support you as you move along your parenting journey. And it is a journey. And I just want to acknowledge you for your willingness to step into and try to become a better parent. That growth mindset is just going to be critical to getting through these teenage years. Until next time, remember, a change in perspective changes everything.